So I would put this board in an optional category, but I'm not saying not to use it. I'm just saying that there's a lot of information that you're going to track in Trello, and we'll discuss kind of the pros and cons of how you manage all of that. But reference is one of those areas where it's definitely not as important as the opportunities to track. But still, let's talk about how you can manage your references inside Trello. So we're just going to talk about one example for references, and that's going to be that you have individuals who you want to use or consider using as references. So we're just going to have a few simple lists, and the lists will be used to track reference conviction. So we're going to have a high conviction, medium conviction, and a low conviction set of lists. Just 3 lists for this. And we're going to use cards, of course, as we always do, and each reference is going to be represented by a card. And the title of that card will be the name of the individual who is the reference. And for the comments, you'll use that section to track the notes associated with any discussions that you have with that particular reference. For labels, we'll leverage labels to track when references are confirmed for use. So if you have references you're talking to and you've confirmed that they're willing to be a reference for you, we're going to have a label called confirmed where you can just mark that as a confirmed reference. All right, we are on the home stretch of looking at our scenarios. And in this scenario, we're talking about references. And each reference is going to be identified by a card on our board. But as always, we have to start out with the creation of our board. So we'll do that through our template jumpstart. And in references, we can create we have a very basic board that I've created that you can work with, and so I know some people aren't crazy about the colors, but you only get so many colors with Trello out of the box. But let's go ahead and click on more, click on board, and then type in references. So references are really key to you when you're applying for a job, because these are people who are going to vouch for your credibility. And it's important to identify the right type of people for your references. And when you're thinking about, one of the hardest things is just thinking about who's going to be your reference for you. So it's really important to flush those people out and to put them into some type of list or system so you can think about who you're going to use. And just because you've thought about using someone, it doesn't mean that they are willing to be one. Or you may want to have conversations with them on if they're willing to be one, and maybe to discuss some of the things you want them to talk about related to you. So I've created lists here for high, medium, and low conviction. And these lists allow you to immediately put individuals into buckets about that. They're really focused on how good do you feel about the individual references that you're thinking about. So I'm going to add in a couple people here. I'm going to put in for my high conviction, Jill Jansky. For a medium conviction, I'm going to put in Sam Bass and Bruce Weller. And for my low conviction pick, Sandy Johnson. Since I'm really excited about Jill, I want to give Jill a call and I want to track that conversation with her. And so let's say I talk with Jill, we have a great conversation, she's willing to be my reference, and I want to just document the conversation we had. So I can do that by adding a comment and just saying something like, talked with Jill. She is more than happy to be a reference. We discussed the items that I would want her to highlight about me. Got it. So now we have that activity related to Jill. Okay, so now let's take an example where Jill calls us and she says, I heard from one of your potential employers, had a conversation with them, let me tell you about it. So this is really a good time to go and add a comment and just say, Jill heard from Infinity, where I interviewed for the IT manager position, said the call went great. Thanked her. So this is a place where you can also add activity not only related to the initial discussion that you have with someone, but also subsequent conversations after you've established the agreement that someone's going to be a reference for you. So very straightforward here, high, medium, low conviction. Put the people in that are potential references for you into one of those buckets. Track any conversations you have with them in the comments section, and that's all there is to it. And so that's references.